Are you enjoying the supportive universe that backs up each and every desire as quickly as you can hatch it? Or nearly as quickly as you can hatch it? What about that? Do you believe that you are the creator of your own reality? Do you like that? Do you believe that you have experienced enough life to know everything that you want forevermore? Or are you enjoying the contrast that continues to surround you as a focusing agent? Yes. You appreciate your ability to focus. You understand that you are more than this physical body that you see. Are you beginning to experience the exhilaration of harnessing a focusing power or a focusing point of view, a focusing perspective that even goes beyond the one that surrounds you here in your time-space reality? In other words, while it is certainly true that the variety that surrounds you helps you to become clear and clear about what you want, are you beginning to feel that there is a perspective that is even broader than that you have access to? Do you ever feel that in the moment pouring through you? We enjoy interacting with you and observing you exploring your personal variety and coming to your new conclusions about what you want. But something that most of you are unaware of is that as a result of having been doing that for so long, you have amassed a perspective that you are in most cases not up to speed with. In fact, in most cases, not even close to being up to speed with. Are you following us just a little bit about that? In other words, have you heard us speak of your vortex, which is a vibrational arena or holding place that contains all of the particles of desire that you have been concluding? In other words, when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. As you observe the parameters of life here in this physical time-space reality, you come to many in every day conscious conclusions about what would be better, what would be better, what would be better. The evolution of all species is really about that honing experience. So through the process of living life, you have been coming to those conclusions and sending off these rockets of desire. And this vortex that we speak of, which is a vibrational arena where everything that you want is being held for you in a sort of vibrational escrow. All of those components, as they begin to mesh together, and as law of attraction, the same law that is the engine behind everything that exists universally, as law of attraction responds to those pieces of desire that you've put there, there is a creation of a vibrational version which is the predecessor of wonderful manifestation that is on your doorstep, that is visible, understandable, known by the source within you. Now, you're here in these physical bodies and you have perspectives. You certainly do. You have personalities, you have moods, you have attitudes. As people know you, they'll say, well, she's like that or he's like that. That's just who they are. So you have developed these ways of approaching life here in your physical format. Some of you are seen to be ambitious. Some of you are seen to be more laid back by those who observe you. Some of you are more easygoing. Some of you are more hyper about things. In other words, your friends have labeled you, and in many cases you agree with them that they are perfectly accurate in their labeling of how they see you. But what we want to call your attention to here today is something that you often are seemingly unaware of altogether, and that is that in this amassing of who you have really been becoming, there is a vibrational version of you. We've been referring to it as your inner being, but that gives you the impression that it was the soul of you that existed before you came into this physical body. And we want you to understand that this inner being, this amassing of this perspective of who you really are, is not just who you were before you came into this physical body, but who you have become since you've been in this physical body, because the ongoing creation of you is this never-ending process. And what we want to call your attention to is that that vortex version of you holds a perspective that if you will allow it to merge with the perspective that you think is the perspective or the personality or the attitude or the opinion of you, if you will just allow more of a merging of that broader point of view, your moment-to-moment, day-to-day experiences will be oh so much more delicious. Because when you integrate the utter worthiness that who you really are knows about you, when you integrate the unconditional love that who you really are feels about you and everyone else, when you integrate the balance and the flexibility and the clarity, when you integrate who you really, really, really are with who you're letting yourself be in any moment in time, oh, life is so rich and so delicious and so satisfying, and you want so much more of it. And when you don't, when you deprive yourself of the advantage of all of that clarity, you feel the deprivation. You feel the deprivation of the perspective of who you are. And that, in fact, is what every particle of negative emotion is. It's you depriving yourself of your true point of view, of how you really feel, you see. If you've been listening to us for a while, you've been hearing us talking about who you are, that you were source energy before you came into this physical body, and that here in this body you're sifting through contrast, and of course you're becoming more, and that the relationship between who you're allowing yourself to be in any moment and who you really are is what all of your emotions are about. But we want to say it in a way here today that you will feel it at more conscious levels of your being. You often feel it at very, very deep levels. In other words, when you're having a moment of really being in love with someone, in that moment, you're flowing all that you are into the conversation, into the lovemaking, into the moment in time that you are living. When you are in an attitude of appreciation, in that moment of appreciation, you are allowing the fullness of who you are. We just want you to be aware that that perspective is available to you. And we want it to be a conscious decision on your part. We want you to consciously acknowledge, I want to perceive through the whole of who I am. No longer am I willing to pinch myself off from the broader point of view and just try to make my way through my world by coping. Do you know that you are vibration more than you are anything else? You have heard us say the words, but do you really know it? Do you know that everything that you perceive is a vibrational interpretation? Do you know that? That what you see with your eyes, you see because your eyes interpret vibration and reflect it back to you, that you're actually translating vibration into vision. You're translating vibration into sound. It's easier to know it about sound, isn't it? When you think about sound, you accept the vibration of sound. You can see sound waves, but you can see light waves too. In other words, there are frequencies that you are interpreting. Even your nose is a vibrational interpreter. That's why different things smell different ways. They have different vibrations. So when you decide to accept that you are a vibrational interpreter and that your emotions are the most significant interpreter of vibration that exists for you, and you understand that what your emotions are interpreting, your emotions interpret the vibrational frequency relationship between what you are perceiving through your physical format and what the larger part of you is perceiving in the same moment, in the same time, about the same thing. So when you feel negative emotion, it means your interpretation is not the same as the source within you. When you feel positive emotion, it means your interpretation is the same. So let's say you're looking at something that someone has done and you're not liking it. And you are condemning them for their arrogance or for their stupidity from your point of view, or for their lack of morality from your point of view. You've decided that what they are doing or what they have done is inappropriate, and you feel that emotion within you that you would describe as complaint, blame, rage maybe. That emotion is telling you that you have a different point of view of the source within you. When you feel negative emotion, that means source doesn't agree. When you feel negative emotion, it means source really, 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 really doesn't agree. It means you're in a disagreement with yourself. And you say, yeah, I know I am. And if they'd stop doing that, then I could come back into agreement. If they would behave, if they would become moral, if they would become cooperative, if they would become pleasant, if they would do what I need them to do so that I can feel good when I see it. And we say, but do you understand that you're looking for love in all the wrong places? That you're asking cooperation where you have no power to control it, and you're not looking for cooperation within yourself, which you do have the power to control. You have the power to merge and blend with your broader perspective. But first you got to know that that broader perspective is there, and then you've got to know what it feels like when you're blended with it and what it feels like when you're not, and then you have to make a decision to blend with it if you ever want to feel good on a consistent basis. There, we've said it all. That's everything that we know that you mostly have forgotten. You know it sometimes. You knew it completely before you came into this physical body. And when you return to that knowledge, your world will be bright and shiny for you. Because what it will mean is you will have learned through practice to choose the frequency that meshes with who you really are and what you really know. And in that full power, you'll feel good.